Too many of us are not taking time off, despite the added stress caused by the pandemic and the blurred lines between work and home. What if we shifted our perception of what it means to take time off? Instead of viewing downtime as laziness or failure, what if we saw time off as an investment in ourselves? It's about valuing yourself enough to make that investment in yourself and modeling that behavior for others. This episode is making the case for taking time off and why taking that much-needed break will yield big returns. If you are new to the Women Taking the Lead podcast, hello and welcome. I'm Jody Flynn. I'm an executive leadership coach, speaker, and author. I am the current president of the board for the Maine Women's Conference. I have the privilege and joy to work with women leaders to hone the skills that allow them to grow into and then thrive in senior leadership. My specialization is working with women who are still stabilizing after their last promotion and those who are preparing for the next one. It is my belief that for more women to hold positions of senior leadership, there are changes at the individual and organizational level that need to occur. Not only do women need to be trained and coached on how to operate at these levels of leadership, organizations need to change their paradigm of how the work gets done and what supports are in place for leaders to do their job. If we are not already connected on LinkedIn, please send me an invitation to connect. You can find me directly at linkedin.com/in/Jody Flynn, or you can search for Jody Flynn on LinkedIn. I'm very active on that platform, so I should be at or near the top of the search results. Be sure to add a note to the invitation letting me know you're a listener of the podcast. I would love to connect with you and get to know you better. When was the last time you took a vacation and completely unplugged from work? Thanks to mobile technology, the internet, and a pandemic, more people are working remotely than ever before. When employees do take time off, they often find themselves checking work email, taking phone meetings, and doing research. And statistics are showing that employees who work for companies that offer unlimited time off take fewer days than those who have limited time off. It turns out giving employees carte blanche on time off was a failed experiment. Part of the hesitancy to take vacation is due to cultural norms. Some countries, the United States included, do not require employers to provide vacation benefits. Most companies in the U.S. will provide those benefits to be competitive in the marketplace, but you'll often find that they don't offer these benefits to freelance workers, part-time employees, and the like. Also, many first world countries have adopted a hustle culture. The image of the workaholic putting in long hours has become celebrated, while vacation shaming has become a thing. This is when coworkers are made to feel bad about, air quotes, burdening others while they take time away from work. You may even have had the experience of a coworker or manager questioning you about how you're going to use your time off in a way that signals to you that they are trying to find a justification for your time off, as if your PTO time is not your time to spend unless it's for something serious. There may even be more pressure put on leaders within companies with a hustle culture to limit their days off as a way to model expectations, when in fact, as a leader, you want to model how to take time away to recharge. I have a client who's a single mom, and her daughter was hospitalized a few months ago due to COVID, and she had to miss a couple of work meetings, which she communicated. Afterwards, her boss asked her if she had the bandwidth for her current role. It was shocking to her and to me, and she found herself in what little free time she had gathering data that made a case that she did have the bandwidth for her current role and was actually exceeding expectations. This in a company that publicly states that they value family. According to a Forbes article published in 2021, studies show overworking long days on a weekly basis makes us more stressed and less productive, while detaching from work makes us more energetic and resilient and boosts our productivity and the company's bottom line. The benefits of time off backed by science include immediately gaining a sense of balance and a feeling of reduced stress, the opportunity to recover from physical and mental exhaustion, a chance to renew relationships with friends and family members, and having strong, positive relationships is good for your mental health. It gives you time to focus on your personal needs without having to worry of trying to balance it within your workday or your workload. It also improves sleep. And if you travel abroad during your time off, it gives you an opportunity to meet a more diverse group of people, appreciate differences in culture, and think more globally. The ability to take guilt-free time off is a critical leadership skill and is necessary if you want to grow as a leader. It is one of 25 areas of leadership addressed in the Leadership Operating System quiz. The Leadership Operating System quiz is a holistic self-assessment. It allows you to assess your effectiveness in leading others, leading yourself, your ability to influence, your ability to manage your energy, and your communication skills. It's a way for you to quickly identify where you could focus your developmental resources. This quiz is also an acknowledgement that you're getting a lot of things right. It will take you about 3 minutes to complete, and if you think about it, that's a quick turnaround to gain insight into what would improve your effectiveness as a leader and will make being a leader more enjoyable. Go to womentakingthelead.com/quiz to find out more and to take the quiz. And this link is also in the show notes description. I really want to break down the guilt that comes when you consider doing something that is so good for you, like taking time off. Let's consider the obstacles that might keep you from taking time off or feeling guilty if you do. The first two are concern about work not getting done, right? You may see yourself as the linchpin or the catch-all who keeps your area from falling into chaos, and fear of resentment from your coworkers who are picking up the slack while you're away. For these two, I recommend giving others a chance to show that they are not only capable of getting the work done without you, they can also do it without resenting you. Don't forget, your team has career aspirations, and the way to show they are ready for your job is to actually do your job. Put specific team members as contacts in your out-of-office responder. Have them CC you on the emails that they fielded while you're away, so you know when you get back that it's taken care of. Document anything that falls through the cracks and make it your assignment to train your team to handle it the next time you go on vacation. As for resentment, if it's true, if it's really happening, we all pick up the slack for each other when we take time off. Because we're all taking turns, what is there to resent? Do your best to set your team up to successfully handle the overflow while you're out, and use anything that doesn't get handled properly as a learning opportunity. If anyone does get resentful, remind them that we all take turns. Sometimes, especially if a coworker is under a tremendous amount of stress inside or outside of work, they have a hard time seeing beyond their own experience. And sometimes a gentle reminder is all that's needed to help them refocus. Also, sometimes people feel resentful if they haven't been set up for success. Make sure you're giving your team all the resources that they need and maybe another contact that they can go to for any questions so they feel comfortable handling your work while you're out. Another obstacle to guilt-free time off is workaholism. Workaholism is an attitude that satisfaction, fulfillment, and value come from relentless labor. Rather than being driven by how others perceive you, workaholism is driven by how you judge yourself. I was a bit of a workaholic, and I definitely considered how I was perceived by all my coworkers. So I had both going on. I had the internal pressure and the external pressure. As I was rising in the company, I had some of my team members say that though they wanted my job, should I get promoted, They did not want any expectations that they would work my hours should they get my position. Your team members are watching how you and the other leaders in your company are handling their roles. They're deciding whether or not they want a promotion in your company or if they'd be better off in a different company culture. Even if they are not looking for that next promotion, they are thinking about whether or not they can have a life outside of work, time for family, friends, and other pursuits. You are taking time off for the good of the company and for the good of your team. If you think you might be a workaholic, I want you to consider the big picture. What does it mean to you to have a well-lived life? What are you missing out on when you are working those long hours, weeks, and months? At the end of your life, what do you want to look back on? Those are all some things to consider and can loosen or maybe reduce that internal pressure that you're putting on yourself to do all the things, work the long hours. I often ask, what are you racing towards? What's that big payoff for all the sacrifices you're making? Another obstacle to time off is money worries. If money is tight or you hold a belief that a good vacation is really a really spendy vacation, you may find yourself procrastinating on making plans to take time off. Vacation doesn't have to be spendy. You might save up for a dream vacation, but every time you take time off doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Consider local options or lesser known vacation spots that may not demand the dollars the more popular destinations demand. Have you tried being a tourist in your own area? Or maybe getting away for a few days and spending the rest of the time at home, resting, reading, or indulging your hobbies. Try thinking outside the box and trying some new things with your time off. Scheduling hassles is another big one, another big obstacle to taking guilt-free time off. If you need to coordinate work and social calendars with others, it can make planning a trip more difficult. I have a client who is constantly challenged with taking time off with her husband because her work schedule requires advanced planning and his work calendar frequently has last-minute changes. And I'm currently planning a vacation that has my partner's son as a maybe because the summer practice schedule for football has not been released yet. The key to overcoming this obstacle is communication. Stay on the same page with all your people, set priorities, and then make the call. There may be no perfect time, but you can pick the best time for you and yours. On a brighter note, there was something positive I have experienced vicariously through one of my clients. About 15 months into the pandemic, her CEO mandated that everyone was to take a vacation of a duration no less than 2 weeks during the summer. The company was reporting high levels of risk for burnout among its employees. While my client works in the U.S., the company she works for is a global company headquartered in a country that mandates and takes pride in allowing people time to rest and rejuvenate. My client came back from that vacation smiling, excited, and ready to take on the next big challenges. And I'll tell you, there were many challenges ahead, but she was able to deal with them beautifully because she had the energy and the mental bandwidth to do so. Are you feeling ready for the challenges ahead? If not, it's time to take some time off and feel good about it. I'll wrap up this episode with wise words from Michelle Obama. One of the things I realized is that if you do not take control over your time and your life, other people will gobble it up. If you don't prioritize yourself, you constantly start falling lower and lower on your list. Stay at the top of your list. If you're interested in finding out more about my process, the cost of coaching, or how to ask your employer to pay for you to work with a coach, schedule a time to chat with me. And you can find a link in the episode description to get on my calendar. If you're listening on your phone, that will be in your podcast app. And if you're listening through the Women Taking the Lead website, the link will be toward the bottom of the episode webpage. There's also a link in there to access a checklist that will help you prepare to ask your company to sponsor you to work with a coach. And you can also find that at womentakingthelead.com/checklist. As always, I hope this was of value to you, and here's to your success.